Get the Friendo Club set up today and get access to over 700 Going In Raw bonus episodes, our monthly Big Blue predictions challenges, and the ability to ask questions at Going In Raw. We also offer the Steven Larson comic book and exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt. Just hit join here at youtube.com/Steven Larson or go to patreon.com/Steven Larson to sign up. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. Hopefully you'll join us tomorrow for Crown Jewel. We're going to be doing our live watch along right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson and, of course, over at our sister channel, twitch.tv/Steven Larson, with the review right after the watch along. But this is our count out episode for the week. Today, in honor, in homage, paying homage to 50,000 carats of diamonds, we're talking about the Crown Jewel Championship. This is going to be what I call the Vaporware Championship. Like most Saudi Arabia championships, it'll be there for the event. We've seen it in the lead up. I suspect we'll see one on Raw, one on SmackDown, and then it's going to disappear.
Into the ether it goes.
Into the ether it goes. It remains to be seen if, after some historical context, after some time for some proper historical context, is it going to be one of the weirder championships in pro wrestling history? Which brings us to today's countout, Lars.
Indeed. So this is weird, unusual, using a variety of metrics. Our criteria is vast. It could just be an instance where the title was introduced and poof, gone forever. It could be a situation where aesthetically it's a little different. Or it could be the title where the stipulation behind said title is a little different, or it can be a combination thereof.
In every instance on this list, the promoters behind the title have taken the concept of a championship title and sort of added a twist or two to it, and really given it something unique for us to talk about, and kind of weird, to be honest with you. So let's go ahead. And I'm looking forward to this one, man, because I actually did some research. And by the way, credit to you. You came up with a terrific list here.
Oh, thank you.
There is nothing, because you were like, hey, if you think of anything. And I was like, I don't know. And then I saw your list. I was like, wow, this is a really good one. So
thanks, pal.
I'm looking forward to talking about the ridiculousness of this list. Let's go ahead and dive into it with number 10.
10.
The WWE the greatest Royal Rumble Championship. Of course, this was Saudi Arabia Championship numero uno.
It was. So let's look back at the history of the Royal Rumble. It's been around since the late 80s. And since 1993, I believe the winner of the Royal Rumble has earned a title shot at WrestleMania, in theory, in the main event.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah.
But then the greatest Royal Rumble happened. It was the first, as you mentioned, of WWE Saudi shows, and it went down April 27th, 2018. Just 19 days after WrestleMania 34. And so it was a 50-man Royal Rumble match. And the question is, hey, did the winner of this match actually get a title shot of any consequence of at all? The answer is no. They got a title. And it was the greatest Royal Rumble championship.
Yeah.
And so Braun Strowman ended up winning the greatest Royal Rumble, awarded the title, and then we never saw it again. Never featured on WWE TV ever.
I'll be honest with you. The damn thing doesn't look too bad either.
No,
I think
it's actually a
pretty
decent
good
looking title.
Greatest Royal Rumble title. Let me take, because it's got the green strap, which, pretty much like all the Saudi shows, they've got like a green and gold color scheme to them. But looking at this title, I mean, dude, even like the front plate itself is well designed. It could be, maybe this is just a replica right here. I'm trying to look at Braun's actual one. But the green strap, I think, looks good. But moreover, dude, the actual front plate of the title, it's screw it. Here, let me go and I'll just dump it on the overlay here for the people watching on YouTube. But the actual like front plate, it's not like gaudy. It's not like the current, like the Crown Jewel Championship. Like this thing has actually got a really nice looking front plate. It's kind of subtle, but also bold with the WWE title logo in the middle, but not taking up the entire thing.
Yeah.
And it's sort of in the same, seemingly, I think, in the same color scheme. It's gold And there's also a red stripe to the bottom.
Yeah.
But like, it's a good looking title.
It is. It is. It takes, obvious inspiration from the current WWE World Championships. Yeah, but we just never saw it again after Greatest Royal Rumble. Braun was presented with this humongous trophy and this title, and then poof, gone. It was interesting. I found this quote here from the Sportster shortly after the Greatest Royal Rumble, asking the question: will this championship have any bearing on WWE programming going forward? Sportster said the following, quote, "The likelihood is that nothing that took place in the main event will have any effect on anything once WWE arrives back in the United States and resume normal service."
Yeah, that's not shocking.
And that's exactly what happened. And we've seen it a couple other times with the Saudi shows. There was that one trophy the Undertaker just showed up, beat AJ Styles for, never heard of it again.
Right.
The best in the world tournament is kind of the outlier.
They ran with that thing.
They did.
They really did. I mean, I wonder if that was kind of a Shane thing. It's like, because, Shane had some stroke at that time in the company. Yeah. I wonder if he was like, hey, we have this thing, might as well do something with it. Man, we got to start retconning Shane McMahon and all of his ideas being really good.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe that Rumble that he wanted to change was for the better. Because it wasn't very good.
What if it was amazing? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was really good. I found this little interview bit with Brian Danielson, talking about the Greatest Royal Rumble, because it was I think it was the second match back.
Yeah.
After coming back from retirement. And he's talking about being in the ring, and then Titus gets in the ring and like hits him with a stiff shot. And at first, Daniel says, I was mad about it. And then I look up at the Tron, and they're showing the replay of him tripping during his entrance over and over and over again. And he says, all right, I understand it. I'm going to go stand over here. And he was in that match for over an hour.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, you could tell he was like the happiest person on planet Earth at that point. So in terms of it being the greatest Royal Rumble, greatest is one of those terms, bit nebulous. You can sort of interpret it.
It was the largest. It's 50-man Rumble. It's the largest.
Yeah, I mean, they did that one year where it was like 40.
It was 40,
so
the year Del Rio
10 over that. According to Wikipedia, there was a World War III Rumble where it was actually... so this was World War III, 1995. The World War III Battle Royal, although it was over 3 rings, it was 60 competitors.
Yeah.
So more rings, more competitors. I don't know. That to me, I'll be honest with you, and the magnitude of a World War III, that to me screams greater than this, but who am I?
I mean, did the winner of that particular World War III match win a custom title?
Well, I'll tell you right now, World War III, the first winner was Randy Savage, and this was for the World Championship. It was vacant. So
but it wasn't a custom title.
No, it was the actual one, which I don't know. I don't know if that's a better thing or not a better thing. I don't know. I won the main title. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on now, dude. Yeah. To number 9. The New Japan Professional Wrestling King of Pro... Wait. Is it actually King of Pro Wrestling?
It
KOPW?
Is actually the King of Pro Wrestling title,
It's not Kazuchika Okada Pro Wrestling title?
No, although it was introduced by the Rainmaker himself at a press conference July 8th, 2020. This is like it's been 4 years ago. More than 4 years ago that he introduced this title.
Boy, oh boy.
And the concept of this thing, groundbreaking to say the least.
Yeah.
So here's what it is. So during the course of the year, it has been since the beginning of the year, there's a provisional champion crowned. Usually they have the New Japan Rambo in the pre-show for Wrestle Kingdom.
By the way,
Final Four.
Visually, this episode is going to be a mess because I'm just dumping these titles on
Fine. So the Final Four that Rambo will then face at New Year's Dash determine the first provisional champion for the year. This is how it's gone since 2021.
Okay.
And so throughout the year, the provisional champion will defend the championship. At first it was a trophy. Now it's actually a title. And the title can change hands. And whoever has the championship at the end of the year is crowned the King of Pro Wrestling champion for that year.
Right.
And so each match, both competitors offer up a stipulation for the match. The fans then vote which stipulation will be employed. Some of the stipulations are crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's been some crazy ones. I remember watching this one match. It was Taichi against Shingo. And it was essentially, I think it was this one. The
Is
30.
this the one with the falls?
Yeah, you when you get a fall and the ref counts, it's credited to you. You have like 2 points for every.
If you get me for 1 3 count, that doesn't mean as much as me getting you for 2 2 counts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the match was actually really thrilling coming down towards the end because it was like, oh gosh, they're trading, 1 and 2 pinfall counts back and forth, and it was actually a really well done match that got you involved in the action. But there's been like silly ones like a dog cage match. Of course, Yano, early on in the title's history, he had it like 4 times in the first 2 years.
He's like the Bruno of this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's been matches where like the wrestlers' respective seconds were handcuffed to each other. There was a whiskey bottle ladder match.
That's fun.
Where was this one? This one sounded pretty crazy. It was like I have a list of some of them here. End of year party rules match. So apparently there was intervals during the match where the stipulation would change.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
So, it's a pretty inventive approach, I always felt like.
Yeah, for sure.
To doing different stuff.
There's a no rope ring out match. It's like a sumo wrestling type match. Last man standing lumberjack.
So there's been some obvious comedy matches. There's been some pretty serious, intense ones, and everything in between. There's been a lot of fun stuff they've done with it. And the current champion is the Great Khan. He's had it since June. The current provisional champion.
Yeah, when you have it, you're the provisional champion. If you end the year with it, that makes you the champion for the year. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's correct. Okay.
Yano's done it twice. He's been champion at the end of the year twice.
Okay.
Shingo once, and then Taichi once, it looks like.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was... And it's a bummer because they had a 4-way match to determine the first King of Pro Wrestling champion, and Okada was in said match but didn't win it.
Yeah.
Chaos stablemate Yano got it first.
And remember him at the press conference being the one to introduce this thing, which is why we jokingly refer to it as the Kazuchika Okada Pro Wrestling Championship. It's a beautiful title, too. I've got it up on the screen right now.
Yeah.
The blue with the gold trim on the outside, along with the gold. This is a gorgeous championship title belt. I'm still not huge on their heavyweight champion, on the IWGP heavyweight championship. Yeah. But this is absolutely gorgeous. It really is.
I like the trophy, too, because it was like an Oscar.
Right,
it was holding up a wrestling ring with the New Japan logo in the center of the ring.
Yeah, that's really cool. Before we move on, Larson, why don't we go ahead and pay some bills? Because we're probably going to breeze through this episode to a degree.
Sure, let's do it.
All right.
This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. Steve, I don't say enough. I need to say thanks.
Okay.
I need to send some appreciation to our mods. They're the best. They're awesome. This time of year, it's all about gratitude.
Yeah.
So thank you to our mods. Another person I want to thank, and that's me.
Oh, thought you were going to say me again. I'll be honest with you.
I've thanked you 3 times this week.
There's always room for more, Larson. But, we probably don't take the time to thank the people in our lives enough. And that does include ourselves.
Yeah. There was a period in my mid-20s where I definitely wasn't appreciating myself. I was dealing with severe anxiety. And because of it, my life was pretty much on hold. I was trying to work everything out. Eventually, I realized that I had to go to therapy, and therapy helped me learn the tools I needed to cope with my anxiety and allow me to better appreciate myself.
And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is entirely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. Then you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
So let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp. HELP.com/raw.
All right, let's continue on with our next one. And of course, that is number 8.
8.
Oh, this is a fun one, man. Of course, it's the AEW Texas Chainsaw Massacre Deathmatch Championship. One and only one man has held this title. And no, it's not Leatherface. It is, in fact, Jeff Jarrett. Look at this beautiful thing, Larson. I'll be honest with you. It's a very simple looking title, but it's inspired. It just has Leatherface's face prominently in it. There's no words on it, but it has a really cool like sort of double front plate thing going on with a striking red background behind Leatherface. And otherwise, it's got like, it's like got sort of a darkened silver to it. On it doesn't even look like silver. This looks like some brushed metal you'd find in a shed somewhere, which is a
pewter or something like that.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It's actually, in terms of gimmick titles, it's kind of gorgeous. I kind of love this thing.
I do too. I think it's a great title. I think it's great that Jeff Jarrett won this match. It went down August 16th, 2023 on Dynamite. It was Jeff Hardy versus Jeff Jarrett. It was a tie-in, a promotional tie-in for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game that was being released. I found a quote from Double J, ain't he great, talking about being the reigning, defending, undisputed Texas Chainsaw Massacre Deathmatch champion. He confirmed on his podcast that the AEW was paid $100,000 for the sponsored match, which Tony Khan then donated that money to the Maui Food Bank after there was those wildfires on the island. Yeah. And that's what he had to say about it. Quote, some people just didn't like it, but I loved it. I thought it was an honor to be in that type of integration. It was definitely out of the box. I thought Jeff Hardy and his entire crew executed it well. And I'm not a horror movie guy, but Leatherface, that clip of him walking down the aisle and throwing the chainsaw, and he was supposed to be on our side, but Sanjay got his ass kicked, and Karen got ran off, and all the note. Was this all? That's a nice shot right there. I must be watching it on the show. Just look at the images in the background, production across the board. It was a grand slam in so many ways. And for those that didn't like this kind of stuff, I will say this without question: it certainly will make you appreciate your 4- and 5-star matches. So yes, it actually served a purpose to you as well. I remember this match being tons of fun.
It was
wildly fun.
It was.
You contrast this with that terrible zombie match that was that for Army of the Dead?
Yeah, I think so.
That WWE had on a pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. The match sucked.
Yeah.
The whole premise of zombie lumberjacks was ridiculous.
Well, okay, but Leatherface was in this match, so you can't really.
Yeah, but here there's Leatherface is not a supernatural entity.
Let me push back on that.
Leatherface is not a supernatural entity, though.
I don't hate too much. Well, that can be debated. I know he's not originally, but I think in the sequels he's probably displayed some amount of superhuman ability. Maybe not supernatural. I think the zombies. I don't know. I think the zombies match is actually kind of fun. I do. The idea of a bunch of zombies is it just didn't make any sense within the context of everything. But like neither does Leatherface showing up in this match. Like
Leatherface showing up here makes more sense than a bunch of zombies.
None of it makes sense. No. None of it makes sense.
I didn't say Leatherface showing up made sense. I said Leatherface showing up makes more sense.
If it was if it was like Satnam Singh under that mask or something like that, then it's like, oh, they're cosplaying as Leatherface. But I think in canon, this was supposed to be actual Leatherface.
Yeah, it was supposed to be actual Leatherface, yeah.
Right.
Or could this been somebody cosplaying as Leatherface? We don't know.
Well,
they were supposed to be real zombies ringside.
Yeah, I know. I'll be honest with you. It's silly. Look, it's silly as hell. I get it. But I'm not going to hate on that match too much. A lot of people do. I think the bigger part about that match was like, it was like part of an actual story. That was the bigger thing for me is that, because what was it, Miz and Morrison or something like that?
And Damian Priest.
Okay. That was like part of a story that they built to. It was like, wait a second, it's just an advertisement.
Well, then like John Morrison, you got dumped into a bunch of zombies with the idea that he was eaten by them. Show up the next day on Raw, totally fine.
I think he made reference to it, though.
Yeah.
I think he made reference to it. I don't know. I'm not hating on that match too much.
No, that match was garbage. This match was tons of fun, though.
This match was garbage, too, but it was tons of fun.
It was tons of fun.
It's all right.
I didn't say it was a good match. I said it was a fun match.
All right. Just make sure we're on the same page with that. Anyways, Jeff Jarrett winning this thing, especially Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Noted deathmatch legend Jeff Jarrett carrying around the deathmatch championship.
I love it. It's got like that old school gritty feel to it. The old Texas Chain. That's a really great movie, the original one especially. Yep. And for an old school guy like Jeff Jarrett to hold it, it just sort of makes sense.
It does.
It makes sense. Yeah. All right, let's move on to this one because this is some crazy stuff. Number 7. This is the NWA Brass Knuckles Championship. Now, are we talking about The Florida version, the world version, the Mid-South version.
I got some notes in here about all of them because there's various iterations, including a reboot of sorts. So, doing some research for this. There's actually a pretty extensive history of championships centered around stipulations involving shoot fighting, essentially, or mixed martial arts. So, if you go back to the late 70s, you had the WWF World Martial Arts Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Which was supposed to be fought under more shoot fight rules.
It's like Pancrase.
Kind of. And then more recently, we talked about this. We did a count out on ugliest championship belts. And we talked about this one, the 5-star tap or snap title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the NWA lineage of brass knuckles championships predates all of them. It also took it up a notch because the stipulation wasn't just, all right, shoot fight rules. The idea is that the competitors would actually be fighting with brass knuckles.
Okay, all right.
Or at least hands taped up to simulate brass knuckles. So the first iteration of the title was introduced in Dallas in 1953 with the WCWA promotion, which was under the NWA banner.
Gotcha.
But then they started using similar titles in Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Mid-Atlantic. And eventually the NWA in 78 introduced the World Brass Knuckles Championship.
Okay.
So these regional versions were largely phased out by the end of the 90s, but the belt was brought back for about 6 years by NWA New England in 2000.
Okay. Oh, but it looks like more like by the end of the 80s it was phased. Okay, so there was,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, there was yeah. So there was a lot of variations here. There was a Texas WCC, so NWA Texas, World Class Texas, World Class Wrestling Association Brass Knuckles. Southwest had NWA Brass Knuckles Championship and an NWA Texas Hardcore Championship. NWA Southwest sounds kind of badass, to be honest with you, because I watched one of these matches on YouTube.
Yeah,
and it's just a hardcore match. It's just they go at it. They go into the parking lot, which was kind of awesome, and they're like fighting around cars and stuff like that, and on cars. And there's an Amarillo version,
yes,
an
the
Australian
promotion, yeah,
Florida. That was Championship Wrestling Florida. That's the one that I saw. Mid-Atlantic, New England, and Tri-State. So yeah, and that one, the Tri-State one was 12 years. I won 12 years. The Mid-Atlantic was 78 to 86, so during their prime years. Yeah. The Florida version was from 60 to 84.
And I think the Dallas version, the WCWA, was from 53 to the early 80s.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, the NWA Big Time Wrestling, 53 to 86, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, world class, okay.
Yeah, so and a lot of those championship belts actually, of course, had the brass knuckles on the title.
I've got one of them on here. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones, but this looks like probably one of the older ones. It looks like trash, to be honest with you. But
is it the one with the silver plate with the 2 brass knuckles on it?
That's exactly what it is.
Not a handsome championship, no.
No, but I appreciate it looks old.
It does look very old.
It looks old, yeah.
It looks handcrafted.
Looks like you can get one of these on you can get like a Texas one on eBay for $200. Yeah.
Add to your belt collection there, Steve.
Maybe that's a possibility. But yeah, no, this is cool. It's an OG, basically it's an OG version of the Hardcore Championship,
Virtually, yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. A lot of history behind that one. Let's see here. Let's look at the one that was around for a long time, the Texas one. First one by Bull Curry. What a great name. Rito Romero.
Wow, Bull Curry won that a lot.
I love this as well because I'm just looking at the Wikipedia entry. Rito Romero won it in 1954 at a house show, and it says it is not clear who he defeated to win the championship. because get this. The history was unrecorded from April 8th, 1954 until whenever Rito Romero won it in 1954.
Wow.
So, nobody was keeping records back then, man.
Mm-hmm.
Not really.
Yeah, they have record of Bull Curry winning it probably a dozen times.
Yeah, right. El Medico. That's very cool. As a doctor. He's a luchador doctor. The Zebra Kid. These are some kayfabe corner names right here.
They really are.
Iron
really
Mike
are.
DiBiase. Look at
Some
that.
noted names in Texas wrestling held that championship. Fritz von Erich.
Yep.
Got Jose Lothario.
Waldo
Blackjack.
von Erich.
Blackjack Mulligan and Blackjack Lanza.
Oh, that's funny. Waldo von Erich was the kayfabe brother of Fritz, but not an actual brother. Huh, so he was the first fake von Erich. Didn't know there was a fake Von Erich that preceded Lance. See, we're all learning something here, people.
We are. Terry Funk had it. Bruiser Brody, Rocky Johnson, Dusty Rhodes,
Bernard. Oh, there's Fritz.
Billy
and
Graham.
And then who's the last person to have it?
Tony Atlas.
Tony Atlas. Look at that. I wonder if during his celebration ceremony he was wearing a dress shirt with a tie and no sleeves.
Sleeves cut off, yeah.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and move along now to number 6. We've seen this one in person, Larson. It's the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal Weight Championship from DDT Pro.
We saw Jack the Jobber win this.
We did, yeah.
At a WCPW show.
And lose it. Who did he lose it to again? You know the answer to this, right?
I do.
Did you just think about it in your head?
No, I remember.
Okay. Name redacted.
Yeah. Apparently this title's been around since 2000.
I saw that, in response to the WWF Hardcore Championship and the 24/7 rules.
So imagine kind of the madcap nature of what WB was doing with the 24/7 title.
Yeah.
And take it up several notches.
Take it to its logical conclusion.
Yeah, where you have inanimate objects win the title.
Yes.
There's a dog, there's a cat.
I think there was a monkey.
Who have won the Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Championship. The title has changed hands. There's been 1,677 recognized reigns.
Yeah, 300 of those came in one night.
Yeah.
There was two fellas who just traded
back and forth, yeah.
Back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some of the other inanimate objects that have won the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Championship: a beer can, a pair of chopsticks,
a ladder,
a pork bun,
the Young Bucks book, Killing the Business,
a camera crane,
the title itself.
The title itself won itself. That's fucking nuts.
It is. That
is wild.
A pint of beer.
Wild. Yeah, a baseball bat.
Trash bin.
A stuffed Hello Kitty doll. Also, two people who don't exist won this. Arnold, I'm looking at the Wikipedia entry.
Oh, yeah.
Skeskajaneker, an invisible wrestler, where opponents sell moves of a wrestler who isn't there, and the title is held by nothing and no one but the wrestlers, and referee acts if they can see it. Muscle Sakai won the title from this invisible wrestler by using a ray gun and infrared visor to shoot the invisible wrestler, winning it in a KO decision. And then the Invisible Man himself won it.
Yeah.
The more famous version of an invisible person.
So there's also been collective champions. Apparently all the subscribers of DDT's YouTube channel considered champions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Young Bucks. The Addiction, that's Daniels and Kazarian, amongst others who have won it collectively.
The entire audience of Beyond Wrestling's American Rana 16 event.
It's just they embrace the ridiculousness of pro wrestling and then take it up several more degrees.
Yeah.
And it's pretty darn entertaining. There was a spell, probably what year did we go to that WrestleMania? That was 2017? From like 2016 to 2018 or so, where this title especially was getting a lot of attention because it was all these kind of crazy madcap title changes.
Well, social media, like at that point, Twitter had really blown up in pro wrestling. And so you get and YouTube, and you get a lot of clips. And then when you get guys like, back then it was WCPW with the dudes who are Cultaholic now. They were doing that stuff when we went to the WCPW show. And that's when Jack the Jobber won it and lost it back to Name Redacted, to singles action. Anyway, so wildly fun. Also, the title itself, beautiful. I've got it on the screen right now. It is, and honestly, so much of it has to do with texture. Like, it is such a wonderfully textured title. This thing is absolutely, it might be my favorite looking title on this list. It is beautiful.
Interesting.
It is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And well, the New Japan TV title's not on here, so as much as I like the
King of Pro Wrestling one is, and you like that.
I like that. I think it's a great looking title, but not as good as this one.
Fair
Anyways, let's move on to the next one. Number 5. I was today years old when I learned about Dojo Pro.
So, yeah, I only found out about it a couple days ago. So apparently it was a series-long gauntlet-style match that featured some pretty prominent names in the independent scene in 2018. Ricky Starks, Swerve Strickland, MJF, Wheeler Yuta, Jeff Cobb, Joey Janela, amongst others. So the series aired on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And, obviously based on the name, took inspiration from martial arts.
Yes.
And that was employed in how they use the titles on the show. There was 2 titles. There was the Dojo White Belt Championship. And so if you won a match, you got the title. And as long as you keep winning, you retained it. If you lost it, it went to the person who won the match.
Right.
Ultimately, if you won this series, this gauntlet match, you would win the Dojo Black Belt Championship.
That was held by a number 1 seed guy, but I don't know exactly who that was.
So, similar if you're going through, a martial arts discipline, you eventually, as your skills improve and you learn more, you level up, ultimately becoming a black belt.
Yeah.
And whoever finished the series with the Dojo Black Belt Championship was then granted a shot at the Ring of Honor TV title.
Yeah.
A really interesting concept. We should probably check this out at some point.
Yeah, that'd be fun. It
sounds pretty cool. When it comes to the belts themselves. So they took inspiration from the concept where, when you are a practitioner of one of the martial art disciplines and you have your gi and you have your obi, which is the belt, and you have it tied around your waist. And then there is some extra fabric that kind of hangs down from the knot.
Yeah.
So they took inspiration for that kind of look for the title. So you have the leather straps with the face plates and the side plates, but then there's 2 extra pieces of leather that hang below the face plate, a la the pieces of fabric from the obi that hang down once you tie them.
So I've got the image right now for the YouTube viewers. You can see both the white belt and the black belt here. What is your assessment of these titles? Straight up, yay or nay?
You just want one word?
Let's start with one word.
Kind of a nay. And
I'll
say why. I appreciate the inspiration. And
you got to get rid of the straps.
Yeah, it's the straps that are hanging down. That's the issue. Because they're too large in relation to the rest of the belt. You see shots of people that have the belt over their shoulder, and they got these hunks of leathers like hitting them in the face.
You do them the other way, and you can't put your arm right here.
Yeah, because there's 2 huge hunks of leather right there. Like if the leather was smaller, or if they had an obi worked into the construction of the belt, then maybe that'd be something. But it was too much. I can appreciate the inspiration. And in terms of thematically what they're doing the show, it fits.
I know it does. It is goofy in practice. The sad thing is if you get rid of those straps at the bottom, they're actually beautiful titles.
Yeah, they're decent looking belts otherwise, yeah.
So it's like, I get it. Like, I understand that's
an interesting design choice. An understandable one, but in practicality, it didn't really seem to necessarily work out.
So in the end, Jeff Cobb was the number 1 seed. He was the black belt. And Aaron Solo defeated Jeff Cobb. Spoiler alert.
Well, it's from 2018, early 2019. That's
Spoiler alert if anybody wants. Sorry, everybody. It looks like Aaron Solo defeated. And this was like, the whole point of this was like, there was the producer whose name was Logan Sekulo, because I did a little bit of research. I just watched a video. Logan Sekulo, he wanted to create like a bingeable wrestling show because everything back then, you got to be bingeable.
Yeah.
So they created this. They were going to do a second season, but guess what happened?
Oh, COVID happened.
No, AEW happened.
Oh, AEW happened, yeah.
Yeah, because it was 2018, 2019. Everybody in this show ended up basically with AEW.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting concept. Definitely worth checking out, I think.
Yeah, they're big fans of the Mortal Kombat thing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like you climb the ladder. That's sort of the thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this next one. Number 4. The TNA World Beer Drinking Championship.
So, when you think James Storm,
you think beer.
Think beer.
Think beer.
So it makes sense that he would create a beer drinking title, which if I remember correctly, it's like a WWE spinner world title kind of, with like a beer bottle attached to the spinner plate.
Even better, it's a toy version of Cena's spinner title with, yes, a beer bottle attached to it, and it would spin around. Yes.
Well, let me ask you, who do you think, with that in mind, who is the longest reigning world beer drinking champion in TNA history, Steve?
Well, I'd like to say I knew this, or I just all just knew it from my knowledge, but I did actually research this one. It's Eric Young.
Not James Storm.
No, not James
Person who was
Storm.
literally a tag team named Beer Money.
Yeah, but therein lies the irony, I guess.
Yeah, and the humor. And so it was created early November 2007 during the James Storm Eric Young feud. So they had a beer drinking contest, which James Storm lost. Apparently, Eric Young could handle his beer. And they were feuding on and off between November and 2007 and February of 2008. James Storm finally won it back in a ladder match, and then they retired the title because Rhino destroyed it.
Sounds right. It didn't seem like it would be too difficult to destroy. Again.
No, it's a toy with a beer bottle glued to it.
Yeah. So that's, yeah.
But if you want to try to find an interesting, creative way to push a feud forward and not rely on the same, I don't like him, he doesn't like me, we're going to fight.
Oh, I love this.
Using the concept of one's drinking ability for a feud is creative, and I can appreciate that.
Whenever anybody comes to town with their own title, like Taz's FTW title, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, Shane Douglas isn't going to give me a title shot? Pfft, nobody can beat me. You know what? I know it. Make my own title, and then people can challenge me for it. No, I love that. I think it's great. Yeah.
But then James Storm created this title and basically instantly lost it.
Yeah, well, high risk, high reward, man. I suppose. So it is what it is.
Eric Young had it for 106 days.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. This is my favorite one on this list, though. Maybe not in visually speaking, although it is interesting visually. But I love this. It's number 3.
3.
The DDT King of Dark Championship. And, of course, this is a championship for losers. So you would basically, they'd have a match. Whoever lost the match would become the new King of Dark champion. And then you'd have to wrestle in dark matches. And until you won, you were stuck there in dark matches as the King of Dark champion. Now, doing the modicum of research here, I found my new favorite wrestler. Just the visual of him makes me laugh. His name is Gota Ihashi. And this guy has had this title, his total combined reign, a number of days that he's been champion, is like over 400 days.
Yeah, he's had it 6 times.
He's had it 6 times. And it cracked me up because there is a YouTube video where, and there's no it just explains it like via text on the screen. And then it takes you through the lineage. And there's no audio whatsoever in this video. And so you're going along and it shows this guy was, this Gota Ihashi was first champion, and then goes to another guy, and then it's back to Gota Ihashi, another guy, back to Gota. And the picture of this Gota Ihashi guy, he looks like the saddest guy alive because he is the King of Dark champion, just a loser. I'm going to see if I can get a picture of this thing up on the screen, but here it is. But I love the concept. Look at that. This is amazing. There's not even a K. It says King of Dar. There's not even a K on this thing.
Yeah, I know.
There's no F either. That's great.
Yeah, it looks like it maybe got busted up a little bit. Yeah, it's got like a skull type thing on a red background. It's got some chains attached to it.
It's very more Power Rangers.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it's an interesting concept, and it's not. I don't think this is the first. Well, there's been other titles I think since then have kind of adopted a similar concept where, loser gets the title. there's a stipulation involved. I mean, it wasn't a championship, but when AAA had that tournament where the loser loses their mask, the loser would advance in the tournament, not the winner. So those types of concepts I always find interesting.
Me too.
It's different. It's unique. So
is.
Often
It's
in pro
fun.
wrestling, like the prize, the title goes to the victor. In this case, no.
Yeah, they have a similar. Remember that show, The League, the fantasy football one?
Yeah.
It was a pretty funny show. They had at the end of every year, I'm sure other leagues do this. They have whoever lost gets a special prize, to symbolize that they're a loser.
So in one of the Friendo fantasy football leagues, the very first year, my team beset with injuries.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was awarded a small trophy about this tall.
Wasn't it like a toilet?
It was a toilet.
That's right. I remember that.
And I have it in my bookshelf out in my living room.
You're the King of Dark, man. You're the King
But
of
then
Dark.
the next year I won the championship, so I had them right
there you
next
go.
to each other.
No longer the King of Dark. I like it. That's cool. All right, let's move on to number 2. The Progress Tag Team Championship Shield. Talk about we mentioned this as ahead of the show, taking the concept of a championship and then turning it on its head.
Completely.
Or in this case, maybe on its side, split in half.
Yes, so as we'll talk about more later, in their early years, Progress Wrestling didn't seem concerned about adhering to tradition when it comes to championships. So during their second anniversary show, March 2014, they crowned their first tag champs, and rather than presenting Mark Andrews and Eddie Dennis with belts, they were each given 2 halves of a shield.
Yeah.
And so these shield titles lasted about 3 years. Eventually,
That's
Progress.
a long time.
It is. I know. Carrying around those. Imagine trying to, make your flights. Title belt you can fold up, put in your luggage. Shield, you can't do that.
Oh, they weren't traveling.
They're
Dude, listen.
probably traveling by car, but still.
I don't know where I'll be honest with you. It wouldn't shock me if for their first couple of years, Progress was strictly in London around the same area. And the only reason I was looking for video of
Is
this
it Mark
match.
Andrews from Wales?
Yeah, but I don't know. He probably went to, I don't know. We'll have to look it up. We'll have to see. In terms of where the shows were. But there was a Progress chapter 12 is when they awarded these. And I was looking for video of this. And the only video I found was somebody's vlog where Eddie Dennis and Mark Andrews were outside the venue before the show selling merch. I mean, they were having fun with it. They weren't they were who wants the shit? That kind of stuff. But yeah, you know what? I admire that they're really, this is an inspired idea. You can't have one championship without both members. I like that as a concept. I think it's really cool. And who knows how actual heavy this thing was, but yeah, a little strange. I think people probably weren't too upset when they eventually had those cool tag titles because the tag titles ended up looking pretty cool.
Yeah, they kind of took the similar concept, not the 2 halves, but in terms of design.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The belts, the faceplate, was divided in 2 halves.
Yeah.
So, it still took inspiration from the original Shield. Yeah, it's crazy though that championship in Shield form lasted 3 years. Because whether you're just driving, all right, we got to make room in the trunk for our Shield championship. It's kind of cumbersome. Well, not quite as cumbersome as number 1, but still pretty cumbersome.
And we're going to talk about that here in a second. The first time they traveled outside of London was 2 years deep into the promotion's history.
Yeah.
It was, and that was for a, and at that point they were kind of not all over the place. They did a small tour in Hertfordshire, wherever that is. I think that's not that far. It's only 40 miles away. Because I think that was kind of close to where I used to live. And they went back to London. Yeah, London was basically their base. They would once in a while.
They have wrestlers from all over the United Kingdom wrestling.
Oh, sure. But I would imagine Mark Andrews probably lived in the area.
Don't know.
Probably just from Wales, I would think. I don't know. I don't know. Probably 15 NXT UK future stars all huddled up in a flat together.
It could be. I mean, there's some names on the show where the tag titles were first won. You had Tommy End, of course, now. Malachi Black. You had Zach Gibson, Will Ospreay.
Zach Gibson with hair, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
beat Will Ospreay. You had Eddie Dennis and Mark Andrews, Mark Haskins, Dave Mastiff.
Well, while we're talking about Progress, Larson, let's talk about number one. And that is the Progress World Championship staff.
Talk about cumbersome.
Yeah.
So, first World Championship, Steve said, staff. May 2012, Nathan Cruz won a tournament to be crowned the first champion.
Do you know who he beat in the final round?
Oh, I remember looking at it too. No, I don't remember.
It's another name, redacted, Larson.
Yeah. I was looking through the list of the chapter 12, and there's a lot of redacted names on there.
Yeah, man.
A lot. And so he was given this staff, and it looked like it was about maybe 6.5 feet high.
Yeah.
And then it had the eagle, the Progress Eagle logo on top. It looked like it had just been cut out of sheet metal or something and attached to the staff. There's no details. I mean, this is a new promotion, I understand.
I mean, it looks a bit weathered. It
does.
You know, whatever. It looks like they varnished it a little bit or whatever you do. They antiqued it maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the picture that I have up, Cruz looks pretty cool with it. But I don't know. I kind of would prefer, if I was wrestler, I'd probably prefer a title, man. You know, you want a belt. Because I don't think dude ever got a title. Because I'm pretty sure he lost this before they.
Yeah, he did. He did, because it wasn't until 2014 that they introduced the championship belt.
Jesus Christ, it was 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yep.
What a bummer.
Yep.
All I've got to show for it is this fucking stick.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, maybe they added some detail to the eagle on top, because otherwise this is the outline of an eagle.
Not very progressive, is it? Yeah, I got a close up of the thing here. Oh, look at this. This thing looks like it belongs in a museum. It doesn't look that bad. It don't look that bad.
No, it's not bad. It's just kind of plain.
It is. Yeah, a bit. Yeah, a bit. But you know what? Hats off to, outside of the box. Outside of the box. Now, if this particular stick had the ability, like you bang it on the floor and then like some like a Tesla coil type shit happens.
Do you want the staff to bestow you the powers of Gandalf?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, that's, not like He-Man more. I'm not really into
right.
Harry Potter stuff.
Did you say Harry Potter stuff? You even aware what Gandalf's from?
It's from Lord of the Rings. Get out of here. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not an idiot. Oh, man. Yeah, no, this thing was fun, though. This thing was fun.
Yeah, it's different, and hats off to Progress for trying different things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, their Atlas Championship had like a unique look to it too, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were trying new things. They're still around that Progress Wrestling.
They are.
Subculture is about to wrestle on their show, or just
really?
did. I saw a promo of theirs today. So yeah, keeping the NXT UK name alive.
Yep.
Anyways, so yeah. Let us know what weird championships and championship stipulations you can think of and put them in our comments below. Maybe we'll read some of them. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.